Hello everybody, welcome back to Bison Workshop. I'm Bob, and today I'm going to show you how to wire a cheap DRO so you don't have to use batteries for it no more. Don't forget to have your truck coffee. I'll wait till you get it. Alright, you're back. Alright. And the ones that ain't back, shame on you. So what we have here is a DRO, Easy View DRO by iGaging. And its model, well, says plus. But this thing takes 3-volt batteries. These are 2032, I believe. Yeah, 20 CR 3022 or 2032. Well, every time you turn around, you got to replace them batteries, and that thing kicks into a lot of money after a time. So these here are the 2025s, and this is what I had for my calipers, I think. But then I had to get the 30 or the 2032s, and this is all I have left. I'm getting tired of replacing them. So we're going to show you how I'm going to make this so that we don't have to do that no more. So I'll put you down here to where I'm working and show you what I'm doing. Alright, so what I have to do is take the cover off, and I've already taken the screws off of it. This here's what slid in it that covers the batteries, and this is where your 2 batteries go. Well, the first thing I done was drilled a hole in that, and that will be explanatory here in a little bit. I drilled that hole there in it, mainly to bring the wire through, and that way it can go into my panel, and these here will stay put. And I'll run them on a 3-volt power supply. So what I'll do is take it apart here, and then just to make it easier to work with, you'll want to take and move these little gray or black levers out to release that ribbon, and then it'll just slide right out. So we put that aside and be done with it. So now we've got the batteries right here, and look where the contacts are. Right there, and they're in behind everything. So when you put this back on it, it's got that closed off area right there that's actually hollow underneath of it, down inside there beside the board. And it's also hollow around in here too, but we don't really need to worry about that. All we need is that wire is going to rest right down in this valley. We're going to put a positive wire going from this one to this one out, and then we're going to put a negative from here to here out. Then when we go to put this back together, the wire, I have to cut a little groove in here, and I'll show you on the last one that I did. I did this one. So I pulled that out, and the wire comes up out of there like that, goes into this, and then I can put that in there, slide it in, and there's my wire. So now if I hook this up to any 3-volt, I'm going to be hooking it to 3.5 volt. It's only calling for 3 volts for these batteries. I'm pretty sure it's just a 3 volt. But 3.5 ain't going to hurt it. Yep. So all these are going to go on one 3-volt or 3.5 volt supply off of that computer supply that I have in my controller box. So this one's already done, and I've already tested it, and it works just fine. So now what I want to do is solder the wire to this. So the first thing I want to do is find out how much wire I need. So we need that much wire. So we're just going to say from the tip of this to the end of this hinge, or the center of the hinge. Alright, so we're going to split this back that far. And it don't hurt if you have any extra. So then we're going to take and melt that off of there, right about right there. And then we're going to twist that up. You have to turn the wire, because if you turn this part only, it just kind of unfrays. So you have to hold the end of it because it's such a thin wire. Alright, so we got that one done. Get it nice and straight. And then we'll do the same thing to this one. Bend that over so it's out of your way, so that you can twist this. Alright, so now we've got that done. Now I'm going to tin both of them. And I'm going to need the magnifying glass for that. So let's bring you guys down here a little closer. So I'm just going to take solder and tin those. I need to clean my thing. Alright, and then we'll tin the other one. And then I'll just try to straighten it out a little bit. Alright, so now that we've got that done, now we can go ahead and put this on there. Now when you go to do this, you have to actually hold these contacts here in place. You really don't need these contacts, but I'm leaving them in there. And that looks like water spots or something on that. But when you go to put this on there and you melt that solder, these here will want to move because they're just laying on there. So you have to hold that down at the same time. So now make sure you got your right negative and the positive where they're supposed to be. This one has a black stripe on the side of it. That tells me it's negative. So that will go to the negative side, which is marked right there, negative. So we're going to lay that there. Just like that. If I get it straight. And then I'm going to take a screwdriver. Where'd I put that? And I'm going to hold down on this and the contact so that that contact, this brass contact, don't move. Alright, so that side is on and my screwdriver's hot now. So now we just want to run it in that straight line because there's a green line right there on the board. And then I'll just bend that over into it. So now we got to do this again where we hold them both. Alright, so there's the negative done. Now we can do the positive. And then we'll stretch that over. We got to pull a little bit more, separate it. Now these are a little more difficult because it's kind of hard to hold those brass contacts in where it's supposed to be. So we're going to take this screwdriver and put this down on there, and hopefully that will hold it good enough. And we got to try not to slide it. That one didn't move. Alright, so now we can go down and put this one in, but we've got a little bit too much on it, so now we got to cut that off, and that's what I'll use these fingernail clippers for. And you don't want to drop that down on the board and forget it's there. So now let's put that one on. And there's the second one. Alright, so now that's done. And it doesn't matter if it touches that green line, because that green line is all one thing. These two were connected together to begin with, and then they run over here. This is your ground running all the way over here. Then you got the positive that runs through here and goes over to this first chip. So these two are connected together with that strip of, I don't know what you call it, copper, I reckon. Alright, so now we've got that done. So now we're going to test it. So we're going to hook 3 volts to it, which is already here. So this one is the black. Alright, and this one is the red. And then we want to, first we need to keep them together. They won't stay together. They keep trying to unwrap. These little thin wires are hard to keep straight. So now we're going to lay something here just in case it falls on the table. So we're going to test it here and see if it works. There it is. We have millimeters, and we got inches, and we got fractions and inches, and back to millimeters. So it works. So now we can unhook that. This is a nice tester right here to test equipment with. So now we can disconnect this and put it back together. So now let me cut that off, because I stripped the other end when I already had one stripped. And then I got a jar to put all my scraps in, so I'm going to take them over to the trash can and put them in the trash. Alright, so now we get to put it back together. So now we got to put that ribbon back in place. So you make sure that those are open, and it is. If you see a gap between it, then it's open. And then we want to slide that down inside of it. And then reach in there with a screwdriver and lock it. Just like so. Well, we need to go a little sideways a little bit. They could have gave us a little more ribbon. It's easier to take this part off, but I believe I can do it. So now we just open that up, make sure it's open. And then slide that in there all the way, and then push the lock to lock it in place. So now it's not going to come off. So now we can put that back on. But I've noticed here, you notice this? Oh, that white stuff, man. That don't look good. It's almost like it's been damp. I've never had it damp. But anyway, now we can, it'll be easy for us to put our screws in it just like that. And put it back in there. Alright, so now what we need to do is run this through our, well, I forgot to cut my groove. Now, this is going to be interesting. Alright, so now we can put our wire up through here. So then we'll take and put the wire, straighten it up real nice, put it down in there, and then when you go to push this down on there, it closes it down. And then we can put our screws in it. Alright, so then we'll take this, run it through that hole, just like so. And there it is. There's that one. So now we're going to retest it and make sure that we didn't screw something up when we was putting it together. Now be the time to test it. There we go. It's working. Alright, so we got number 2 done. And I'll do the other one off camera. But that is how you get rid of your battery battery dependence. That's what that is. We're depending on batteries to make that work when we pay for electric already. Why the hell do we want to buy more electric when we got electric that'll work? So, I mean, I've got a computer power supply that's got 3.5 volts on it, which will run that just fine. And I'll just run these kind of plugs right here. And I haven't decided if I want to do this or if I want to do a rail system. Let me get them rails to show you what I mean. What I'd like to do is modify one of these, or I like to have a better set that will screw down. This one I don't know if they're going to work. These I took out of those power supplies that broke, and I figured I'd use them one day for something. But I like to put a 3-volt rail in, a 5-volt rail, and a 12-volt rail. That way I can label that whatever the voltage is, and if I ever add something to it, all I have to do is just hook it into one of those. So that would be nice to have. And I really don't need that many. I only need like maybe 3 of them. 2 or 3 of them. 3 at the most. So the DRO sets the standard for how many I would need. So if I'm doing 3.3 volts on each one of these, I'd need 3 of those lugs. So just make them all have 3 lugs and be done with it. But it's just, I don't see how these are going to work. I don't know if you can modify these things. Might be able to take the last one out, wire all these to whatever I want, and then take the screw out of this one and the guts and everything, and then pull that out and then drill a hole through it and use that as a way to mount it. But I think I could probably come up with something better than that. I could probably 3D print my rails. But I'll keep looking. I probably got more stuff laying around here that could be used for that. But that's how you convert these to get off of that dependent on battery. I'm still going to have a cord on the outside of it, so there ain't a whole lot I can do about that. I just have to make sure it's put on there in a pretty nice way, so the wire will plug here, and then I can just drape it down around the bottom of all the DROs, take it over to the bottom of the DROs and out the side of the lid. But anyway, that's how you do it. Hope you guys learned something out of that. You guys ain't making a whole lot of comments on my videos, man. Am I doing something wrong, or am I just doing something right and everybody's got nothing to complain about? Is that the only reason that people comment, is so that they can complain? I got 2 people commenting on my videos, and well, 3 people commenting on my videos. For the most part, it's only 1, but I'm not getting a whole lot of comments on my videos, man. I'm wondering what's going on. Did everybody decide to hate me at all at the same time? I'm starting to feel that way. So anyway, you guys have a good one, man. Don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe. Do it all. Y'all have a good one. Later.